Hi, everybody. I'm Chris. I'm your instructor for the course, and I just wanted to say hello. Here I am in person. Each week, starting with week one, which is this week, I post a video at the start of the week. The intent of the video is to go over the week, talk a little bit about the DQs, some of the readings, and basically just provide an opportunity to give a bit of background and hopefully a bit of guidance and coaching leading into the week. This particular week, we may be using some words that may perhaps you haven't used for a little while or may be new to you. We're going to talk about paradigms and philosophies. We're going to talk about epistemology and ontology. And again, if you're not entirely familiar with these words and you're still working through what those mean to you, that's exactly where you should be right now. So, again, just think about growth. And if you're feeling a little uncomfortable using some of these are terms you will become increasingly familiar with as you work your way through the course. A couple things I wanted to say this week that I'll repeat a couple different times is every week is building your proposal. So there is no such thing as self-plagiarism in this course. So things that you write in the DQ this week in terms of addressing the two DQ questions could very well find themselves into your theoretical framework. In fact, I hope they do. So consider the DQs for this particular course as we build our research proposals as crowdsourcing. You're putting ideas out there, you're trying to explain how you're conceptualizing these different terms, and people are going to react to that, and sometimes they're going to need clarification, and that's good. Provide it to them, but then at the end of the week, think about, okay, what did I produce this week, and how can I take that and actually put that as part of my proposal. So again, I can't stress enough, no self-plagiarism in this course. In fact, I want you to take what you're exploring and writing about in the DQs and try to put it as part of your proposal. So make sure each week you go through the unit notes. In addition, I always post notes I've taken, which is basically copied from the required readings. You can find those in the course news and bulletins. There are a couple there for week one. And also, there are some other readings that I would also suggest that you explore. In addition to the required readings, of course, you also have the recommended resources as well. So let's talk a little bit about the two DQs for the week. So DQ1 says, consider the readings for this unit and discussions of paradigms and philosophies in the social sciences. How do they relate to your epistemology and ontology? Please identify where your own perspectives are positioned and explain why. So chapter 2, which I put some notes on of the text, talks about that a little bit. But if I were you, what I would do is go to the Patel reading, and I posted a couple notes and copied a couple things from the site, but read it through. And the author there does a really good job of defining each of those terms: ontology, epistemology, theoretical perspective. There's very clear, succinct definitions. And there's a longer chart that says, okay, well, they look at ontology and then they go down through a number of different paradigms and what that might look like. And think about where you stand. So, for example, for me, my own ontology or belief about reality is that it's socially constructed. There is no one single truth that I believe exists. I believe people negotiate their way in and out of perspectives, and a lot of that is based on the context in which they find themselves. So when I did my PhD research, I talked about post-structuralism and that whole idea that there is no one reality, but basically in some ways perception's reality. And again, we find ourselves in situations, and based on the situation and our past experiences and how others are acting, we negotiate positions for ourselves. So that's how I would explain a bit of my ontology. But again, go through the two articles and start testing it out and saying, what do I think is reality? Or with epistemology, how do I know something? And methodology, how would I go about finding it out? So try testing out some of those terms in DQ1. Take some risks, and even if you're not comfortable, put some stuff out there. Think about it, and again, keep in mind some of this will build your own theoretical perspective, down the road of the course. The second discussion within Unit 1 It says, consider the readings for this unit and discussions of methodologies and methods in the social sciences. What draws you to a particular methodology and method? How do they relate to your epistemology and ontology? So I would probably lean more on chapter 2 of the text to answer this question, because chapter 2 of the text gets more into the methodology, where the article, or excuse me, the web-based article from Patel talks more about, the theoretical perspectives. So think about the different types of methodologies in chapter 2 and what the author said about those, and how they might be consistent with what you answered in number 1. So, for example, if I say, well, I'm a post-structuralist and I believe reality is socially constructed, I would not give participants in a study a survey where they answered yes or no questions. What I would do is I would interview them and do semi-structured interviews and really dig into why they feel a certain way. So, and we'll talk about this throughout the course, but the methodology and methods need to be consistent with the theoretical perspective or the theoretical framework. So again, take a risk this week and let's dive into these terms, think about them, and try them out, and just try them on for size. Think about it like trying on clothes. Sometimes they fit, sometimes they don't, but sometimes you don't know until you try them on. So I look forward to the discussions and the DQs. I'll be there with you, adding things as well. And again, think about how what you're saying here could actually be used later on in the course to create your theoretical framework. Have a great week, folks. Thanks.